It's 11 o'clock. AmeriGuard Security would like to remind you to set your alarm and check your cameras. Trust only the best. Protect your family, home, or business with 24/7 armed response.
Perimeter secure.
Remember, AmeriGuards it.
Local news that matters. This is Ksee 24 News at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jennifer Ortega. A woman is recovering in the hospital after Clovis police say she was run over by a car. This happened around 11 this morning on West Shaw. Police say they were called out to a private property for a driver that had ran over a woman in the parking lot. We're told the driver cooperated with police.
When the officers got on scene, the pedestrian was still underneath the vehicle in the parking lot. Fire and EMS arrived on scene and assisted with getting the subject out from underneath the vehicle.
Police say the driver made a turn in the parking lot and didn't see the pedestrian walking. The woman was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The family of a veteran who was hospitalized while on the Central Valley Honor Flight this week finally had a chance to see their dad after he was discharged from a hospital in Washington, D.C. This comes after a brief illness he suffered while on the trip. Juanita Adame has the story.
The crowd who welcomed John Dominguez home this afternoon at Fresno's Yosemite International Airport was small, but the emotions felt in this lobby were running high. This is normally what the welcome home ceremony for the Central Valley Honor Flight looks like. Cheers, applause, and an airport lobby filled with family and friends of returning veterans. Today's crowd, however, was less than half that size, but still just as important.
This was an honor for him to be chosen to actually go on this trip.
John Dominguez was on the October 19th honor flight, but while in Washington, he suffered a severe asthma attack.
When we got the news that he had to go into the ICU while in Washington because he had an asthma attack, and he's never been in the ICU here, so it was a scare for us and not being able to be there.
He was not able to make the returning flight with the rest of the veterans.
I took a toll on my asthma attack, so I missed the rest of the trip, and I don't know if I'd be able to do it again, but this is overwhelming.
But finally today, John was strong enough to return home.
I just want my dad home, safe, here with us, and to see all these people here to show him the support that's still here, even though he wasn't able to come home with the rest of them. It just means so much to me and my family for all of this.
His daughter Alina said the welcome home for her dad was just what they needed following their stressful week without him.
It's amazing, even though it's not as big as it was the other day. It's still a blessing that these people showed up on their own time and free will.
For more information on the Central Valley Honor Flight, visit our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Reporting in Fresno, Juanita Adame, Ksee 24, local news that matters.
It's now been over a month since a 22-year-old woman passed away after morality police in Iran detained her for the way she was dressed. Every weekend since, people have been protesting and demanding answers for her death. Today in River Park on Knees in Blackstone, dozens of Iranian flags were waving to cars as they passed by. Protesters have stuck to their demands, wanting to know how and why she died while in the hands of the country's police. Her family says witnesses in the jail say she was beaten. She later died in the hospital in Iran's capital city.
The momentum is building now. It's the 5th week of the nationwide protest in Iran, spearheaded by young women and men. The regime's only tool is brutality, but our primary tool is peaceful unity across the world.
The Associated Press says over 150 people have died in protest in Iran. An Iranian coroner autopsy says the young woman did not die from physical blows, but from a pre-existing condition. Her family denies the autopsy report. The Hindu community in Fresno is celebrating Diwali. The 5-day festival of lights kicked off this morning at a new Hindu temple. Natalie Vera has this story.
The Hindu community in Fresno is celebrating today.
For the Hindu community, Diwali is like what
Christmas is to Christians.
Diwali is a 5-day festival.
The celebration of Diwali symbolizes the victory of good over evil. And we all have, evil inside of us in different forms. And on this day, we celebrate to get rid of that and just be a better human being.
The festivities kicked off at 11:30 on Saturday morning at the new Swaminarayan BAP's temple on North Maple Avenue. Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer and Fresno State President Saul Jimenez Sandoval were there.
It is a time to come together and to celebrate. And I believe we need more and more of this in our country today.
Day one includes praying.
We pray to the goddess Lakshmi for health, wealth, and prosperity for the upcoming year.
He says day two is about overcoming evil.
Day 3 is Diwali, where we celebrate with friends and family and community, come together, celebrate our rich tradition, food, clothing.
Day 4 is Hindu New Year, and day 5 celebrates the bond between siblings.
It's important for the kids because, we are apart from the community, so they can learn more about their own Hindu culture.
Reporting in Fresno, Natalie Vera, KC24 Local News That Matters.
Check out the highs for today. We're in the 70s. In Fresno, 76 degrees. Madera, 77. Merced, 76. Here's your 4-day allergy forecast brought to you by Boz Allergy. There's elm and juniper pollens in the air. Looks like we're in the good levels for the next couple of days. Your complete forecast coming up after this.
There are great stories in education across the valley.
Stories of standout students and teachers, innovative programs and curriculums.
All dedicated to improving our valley through education.
The Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools and KC24 are committed to telling these stories.
Featuring educational excellence in our community.
Education Matters, Mondays at 6:30 on KC24. Local news that matters.
Made possible by EECU, Fresno State, and Chevron.
Here's the fact.
More Americans are turning to News Nation.
I see our audience grow.
Thank you for being part of News Nation's largest audience yet. All voices need to be acknowledged, and I think that's where you get trust.
Magnify what matters.
That's what we're here to deliver, without fear or favor.
See why America's fastest growing cable news network is News Nation.
It's going to continue to get dramatically larger. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
News for all America.
Local patients and hospitals are feeling the effect of a statewide nursing shortage. And due to persistent underfunding by the state of California, Fresno State's acclaimed nursing program turns away top nursing candidates when we've needed them the most. By passing Measure E, we can help Fresno State triple the capacity for their nursing program and graduate more nurses to serve right here in our own community. Please join me in voting yes on Measure E.
In Washington, the powerful only look out for the few. But I look out for the people of our valley. That's why I helped pass the Inflation Reduction Act that lowers drug prices, like insulin for seniors, secured billions of dollars for water infrastructure and a clean, reliable water supply, while delivering health care in rural communities, especially during COVID. I'm Jim Costa, and I approve this message because the valley is our home, and I will never stop fighting for us.
A new Chevy is the smart way to hit the open road. The smart way to road trip and seek new adventures. Go a little farther in a new Chevy. Find new get up and go, find new roads. Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing or get $1,200 cash allowance on all 2022 Equinox models. Visit your participating Central Valley Chevrolet dealer.
Welcome back. We want to start out with our weather headlines. Take a look at this. It is feeling like fall. Pretty nice for the end of October. Much cooler temperatures are heading our way. We got some cold evenings also in the forecast, and it's going to be breezy tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But taking a look at Kauai Health camera from Visalia, this is what we've been seeing most of the evening. Those clear skies and those temperatures are continuing to drop. But let's check out our almanac. Our record high for this time of year is usually 76 degrees. That's the average coverage. And hey, we're right on record. High today, 76 degrees. But take a look at this. 1937 was 92 degrees, and we're well below that. It's feeling pretty nice and cool outside, so we'll take it for fall in October. Now, taking a look at our highs for today, Fresno hit 76 degrees, Madera hit 77, Merced 76. In the last several hours, those temperatures have gone down. We're now seeing 62 in Fresno, Madera 59, and even a 57 in Merced. So it is getting cooler as the night continues through those overnight hours. Right now, that live radar showing a really quiet valley. Not a whole lot going on. No cloud coverage at all in the last 12 hours, of course. We did see a little bit of cloud coverage, some rain up there in the foothills, but around 2, 3 o'clock, those clouds kind of fizzled out, and so did that rain. Now, taking a look at our air quality in the moderate for most of the valley, Merced, Madera, Fresno, King, Sequoia in that yellow, but Tulare County is seeing some good air quality, so that's good for them in that county. Our overnight lows, check this out. We're getting pretty chilly now for the end of October. Selma 47, Fresno 48, Madera 47 degrees, and it's only going to get cooler as the week continues. Merced coming in at 49 degrees for your overnight lows. But check out the highs for tomorrow. We're well in the 70s, 60s. Madera 70 degrees. Fresno will hit 69. That's pretty nice. Selma 71, Hanford 70, and Tulare 68 degrees. So you want to bring out a jacket. It's going to be some pretty nice fall weather. Now, taking a look at our forecast for this evening, we're going to get as low as 48 degrees, and those numbers will be popping up throughout those morning hours. We're going to see some clouds and some light winds, 8 miles per hour, but it is going to be partly cloudy. So again, you'll want to bring out that jacket. It's going to be chilly. For tomorrow, that 69 degrees is going to be feeling pretty nice, but it will be breezy outside. So be mindful, 8 miles per hour. But take a look at our extended forecast. Here's what we're looking for the end of October. 69 degrees for tomorrow. We're going to continue in the 70s, those low 70s, 48 degrees for our lows into the week. Mostly sunny by the end of the week. We're getting 70 degrees by next Saturday, and that's your extended forecast for your last week of October. Coming up next in sports, Fresno State football continues conference play. Angelique Martinez joins us with more.
Yeah, Jennifer, the Bulldogs hit the road to Albuquerque to face the Lobos. Coming up, highlights as the Dogs took on New Mexico. That and more coming up next in Sports Central.
Years of exclusive coverage inside Fresno State. A tradition for Bulldog fans with stories and moments that matter most. The Bulldog Insider, Sunday on KC24. Sponsored by Fashion Furniture. KC24 is brought to you in part by ServPro of Clovis, Visalia, Fresno, and Shaver.
I'm Dr. Roland at Innovative Medical Center. If you've been told that you needed surgery for a bulging or herniated disc, I need you to know there are other options.
Our NDS, or no disc surgery, can help you avoid surgery. It's time to call Innovative Medical Center.
Let's fill up on the truth. Rudy Salas is the only Democrat who voted against the gas tax increase. Salas voted against increasing the gas tax. That's the truth. Meanwhile, David Valadeo's helping big oil jack up prices at the pump. Just this summer, voting against cracking down on oil company price gouging. And Valadeo's taken over $450,000 from the oil and gas industry. Fed up when you fill up? Thank David Valadeo. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Our family's been farming in the valley for 3 generations. Lots of politicians talk about water and do nothing. But Melissa Hurtado is different. Because she works for the Valley and works across party lines, she got the funding to repair the canals that we depend on and help pass the Safe and Affordable Clean Drinking Water Act. Melissa Hurtado is fearless. She puts the Valley first. I'm a lifelong Republican, but I support Melissa Hurtado because she's all Valley.
Here at Elite Auto, we have 4 locations to serve you. Visalia, Farmersville, Dinuba, Fresno. We have over 250 vehicles in stock and fully custom the way you like it.
Everyone is welcome at Elite Auto. We specialize in pre-owned and customized vehicles. You can get the customized ride of your dreams at a price you can afford.
No credit, bad credit, we got you covered. We cater to all the low income and second chance financing. I'm Anthony Flores, the owner of Elite Auto. Let me help you get in the vehicle you need.
Elite Auto in Visalia, Farmersville, Fresno, and Dinuba.
Ever wonder why Mark Pazin never talks about his record now that he's running for assembly? Maybe because he refused to put sex offenders behind bars where they belong, or the half-dozen prisoner escapes on his watch, or that he abandoned his post as sheriff while murders were skyrocketing to take a cushy Sacramento political gig. Whatever the reason, Mark Pazin put us in danger the last time we put him in office. We can't afford to do it again.
Are you sitting at home in pain, letting it affect your quality of life? I'm Dr. Randall Rowland with Innovative Medical Center. Let us help you prevent any unnecessary medications or surgeries with responsible pain management.
Call Innovative Medical Center today.
Now, Sports Central, presented by Toyota.
Fresno State football continues conference play on the road at New Mexico. The Dogs are fresh off last week's victory over San Jose State and taking on a fellow 2-win team. Bulldogs also looking for their first road victory of the season, while the Lobos try to snap a 4-game losing skid. First quarter, we're even at 3. Logan Fife fakes the handoff, cuts outside for the score. Dogs take an early 10-3 lead over New Mexico. Third quarter, now 13-6 Fresno State. Fife drops back, airing it out, and Jalen Moreno Cropper comes down with it. He sprints down the sideline straight to the house. Bulldogs on top 20-6. Later in the third quarter, Logan Fife fakes another handoff to Jordan Mims, and Fife shows his speed, bolting to the end zone all by himself. The Dogs QB gives Fresno State a 21-point advantage, and the Bulldogs keep it up and cruise to a 41-9 victory over New Mexico. Fresno State improves to 2-1 in Mountain West play.
Four-quarter game. I'm really proud of our kids for hanging in there and battling for all 4 quarters, especially our offensive line. That was the second best defense in the conference against the rush, and thought our guys did a nice job controlling the football, and defense played excellent and kept them out of the end zone, so that was great.
Taking a look at the Dogs' leaders in today's victory, Logan Fife scored 2 rushing touchdowns, and he also threw 1. He completed 19 of 29 passes for 225 yards. The Dogs' leading rusher was Jordan Mims. He had 26 carries for 167 yards and a touchdown. And Fresno State's leading receiver was Jalen Moreno Cropper. He had 9 receptions for 158 yards and a TD. So what's next for the Bulldogs? Fresno State returns to Valley Children's Stadium with a 3-4 record. The Bulldogs welcome San Diego State next Saturday. The Aztecs beat Nevada today 23-7. Kickoff between the Dogs and San Diego State next week is set for 7:30 p.m. Meanwhile, around the college football world today, a handful of Valley natives made big plays in tough matchups. Former Central Grizzly Xavier Worthy had 4 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. The Longhorns suffered a 41-34 loss to Oklahoma State. Texas now drops to 5-3 overall. Former Fresno State coach Kalen DeBoer and the Washington Huskies secured a 28-21 victory over Cal. The Huskies improved to 6-2 overall and 3-2 in Pac-12 play. The Huskies are on a bye next week and then welcome the Beavers out of Oregon State to Seattle. Checking in with the MLB postseason and former Bulldog Aaron Judge, the Yankees have struggled to say the least. Houston defeated the Yanks 5-0 in the Bronx to take a 3-0 ALCS lead over New York. Judge went 0-for-4 today and struck out twice. It's win or go home for Judge and the Yankees on Sunday in Game 4. That's going to do it for sports tonight. KC24 News continues after this.
KC24 News is brought to you in part by The Bone Store.
Around here, how you treat our families and land matters. But John DeWardy doesn't get that. DeWardy paid penalties for polluting local lands, and court records show DeWardy's business knowingly sold defective trees to our farmers, costing them millions. DeWardy refused to return the farmers' money and failed to pay his company's taxes, but put nearly $500,000 into his campaign. Our families can't trust John DeWardy in Congress. DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
and we've been able to deliver for the Valley.
And what did Rudy deliver? 38 votes for tax increases, gas, cattle, and food. That's over $7 billion that would crush families. Meanwhile, Rudy was caught failing to pay his own taxes, thousands of dollars worth. While taxpayers paid Rudy over $1 million, he sticks the Central Valley with higher taxes and fails to pay his own. Rudy Salas is not for us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
What's it like having Xfinity Internet with supersonic Wi-Fi? It's fast, like beyond gig speed fast. With 3 times the bandwidth and the power to connect hundreds of devices at once.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box, all for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. Switch today.
I'm David Valadeo, and I approve this message.
For Rudy Salas, life is one big party. He didn't show up for work almost 450 times. But Rudy Salas did show up for luxury vacations and lavish parties paid for by lobbyists and special interests. And while Rudy Salas was having a good time, we got hammered by higher inflation and his 73-cent per gallon increase in the price of gas. Rudy Salas looks out for himself, and we get the bill.
This is KC24 News at 11.
It's simultaneously one of the president's most popular moves and one of his most controversial, the elimination of up to $20,000 in student loan debt. Josh Letterman reports.
Tonight, 22 million Americans who already applied for student debt relief are in limbo after an appeals court temporarily froze President Biden's signature program. A setback for borrowers like Morgan Downing, a Harvard grad student who was expecting to see some of her $46,000 student debt disappear. Now,
it was just really disappointing, really upsetting. I don't know what my next move would be other than knowing that I'm facing even more debt.
The court saying no debt can be canceled for now while it considers a challenge from Republican-led states who want to kill the program for good. The order coming just hours after Mr. Biden visited a public college to promote the plan.
Today, we're following through on a promise I gave to millions of Americans with student loans, just a little more breathing room.
The election year plan would cancel up to $10,000 a person, or $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. Only individuals earning less than $125,000 a year are eligible.
It seems profoundly unfair after the fact to forgive some group of people, and then the tax bill will end up going right on the shoulders of those people who have already either not taken out any debt or paid off their debt.
Tonight, the White House insists it's full speed ahead, urging borrowers to keep applying at studentaid.gov while the court battles continue.
With all of this in limbo, are you still encouraging your friends to go ahead and submit that application for debt relief?
I'm still telling people that they need to put this application in. My hope is that they see these numbers continue to rise.
We have a dire new warning from doctors tonight about a rapidly spreading respiratory virus impacting children nationwide. On top of that, the flu is also ripping through schools. Kathy Park has the important information that parents need to know.
Tonight, children with RSV overwhelming hospitals nationwide, pushing emergency centers to the brink. From Rhode Island,
even in the last few weeks, we've seen a doubling of cases.
To New York.
Our emergency department numbers are up about 20 to 25%.
The highly contagious but rarely fatal respiratory virus is filling up hospital beds across the country. It can initially present like a common cold, but can become more severe in older adults and infants. Parents of 4-month-old Georgia first realized something was wrong when they saw her breathing abnormally.
Her rib cage very clearly, when she was doing every single breath, it was going in and out, in and out.
Georgia spent 4 days in the hospital, diagnosed with RSV.
We were definitely terrified, especially when we saw that she needed to go on oxygen and had the tubes in her nose.
Tonight, she's back home and recovering. This surge comes just as other respiratory illnesses in children take off. In one Virginia high school, nearly half the students were absent this week because of flu-like symptoms. In San Diego, more than 1,000 students missed class. Experts point to pandemic precautions as a reason for the spike.
You have an entire group of kids over the last 3 years that haven't been exposed to those respiratory viruses, RSV included. And that led to essentially, 3 times the amount of kids who are susceptible.
RSV typically thrives in the winter months, but this year it began circulating earlier than normal.
Do you anticipate things will get worse?
There's a lot of concern that this is just the beginning of the respiratory viral season. And so many of us are very concerned about that.
Many places full of history mark the Valley. Join me as I take you on a tour of the people and places that made history right here in our backyard. This week, a Spanish word for a German cooking device ends up with its name on the map. Thursdays at 6 on Ksee 24.
The state average is now $6.29 for a gallon of regular.
California's gas tax, the highest in the nation.
Because Adam Gray increased the gas tax. It goes up every year automatically. Newsom and Gray don't care about your pain at the pump.
Why would we suspend a gas tax?
Gray agreed. Skip the votes to stop it. Now record gas prices and a record gas tax. It's the Sacramento way. It's the Adam Gray way. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Violent crime is on the rise. Law enforcement is under attack. And Melissa Hurtado is making it worse. Hurtado supported putting limitations on local law enforcement, making our communities less safe. She voted against a law to make human trafficking a serious and violent felony, which would have made prison sentences longer for human traffickers. Melissa voted for the bad guys. She's wrong, and she's extreme. Melissa Hurtado, too dangerous for the Central Valley.
We all need something different from our home, and sometimes that's just more house. That's why Golden One helps you get more.
You're approved.
From lower rates to expert advice from people who can guide you through the process. So whether it's more space to share a meal or somewhere to entertain new friends, we'll get you into your perfect home. As a not-for-profit credit union, we make sure you get more, so you can be more.
The Fresno County Historical Society doesn't just preserve the past, we bring it back to life through photos and stories that connect us all. Your membership allows us to capture and share history every day. Join now at valleyhistory.org/membership.
This is Ksee 24 News at 11.
A busy morning at Fresno's Discover Center for their big annual Halloween celebration. This morning they had tricks and treats. People were able to explore the center, play games, visit with the animals, and even have a chance to win some raffle prizes. Families were able to come in costume and do some early trick-or-treating with the kids.
So we think that our job, our mission is to serve the community, and this is one of the ways that we can do that. So opening up and making sure that people have a safe place to go trick-or-treating. There's a lot of families right now that still don't feel comfortable sending their kids door to door.
The event was free for small children and wrapped up at 2 o'clock. Today, a big day for chili cookers out there. The 5th annual Harvest Fest Chili Cook-Off was at Woodwork Park. Harvest Fest opened the cook-off to the public in North Fresno and opened the contest to all chili chefs to see who has the best chili in the Central Valley. Doors opened at 1 p.m. and the public got to taste it, vote on their favorites, and see who the winner was. Tickets were $20 a piece, and all proceeds go to the Harvest Fest Foundation. And that does it for us here at Ksee 24 News. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
For Rudy Salas, it's a charmed life. Paid the highest legislative salary in the nation, even as Californians pay the highest gas prices. Given over $80,000 in free gifts and trips. Some were financed